Well, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. This is Michael Sortino with KwikTag. Thank you for joining us in this webinar hosted by Encore. We're really happy to show you KwikTag today and give you an introduction to our document management solutions and beyond. So we'll get into that. Let me introduce the team here, and then they can say hello, and then we can start chatting. Mary Miller is our Director of Marketing and Channel. Matt O'Neill is one of our fine account executives that hopefully you'll get to know in the future. And I am, as I said, Michael Sortino. I'm your partner manager here. If you guys want to say hello.
Hello, everyone. This is Matt.
Hi, everyone. This is Mary. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Yep. And we want to say thank you to Melissa for hosting us. It's funny, I was thinking, guys, this morning, the title there, an introduction to KwikTag, document management, and beyond. It reminds me, and Mary, you'll enjoy the reference. It reminds me of Buzz Lightyear from Disney Pixar's, Toy Story franchise. How he would always say to infinity and beyond. And you never really think about that, but that's actually just a really ironic statement because you can never really reach infinity and then go beyond that. He would always say to infinity and beyond.
Sure.
But the cool thing about KwikTag and the great thing here is that you can reach these great milestones in your digital transformation. We can help you get there, and you can go beyond. So today we'll be showing you exactly how to do that. We're going to talk about the challenges that you're facing in accounts payable and the processes, just the normal day-to-day routines, and just basically the reason why you're here. We'll go through industry benchmarks, just so you know you're not alone in these challenges, and then we'll talk about how KwikTag addresses the challenges today with digital transformation. And Mary will do the demo for you there, and just so you know, because what we hope is that questions will come up during this demo, during our presentation, and there is a place, hopefully you can all see it in the panel, where you can type in those questions. We do have time for that at the end. So as we go through this, as I mentioned, we'll do the demo. We'll talk about all these all the data and the reasons why behind it. We'll give you a really great use case and talk about the benefits, but really think about how along the way how this will apply to you and your organization. And certainly any questions, really, we want to be there for you, and we'll do the best we can at the end to address those. So why change anything? Obviously, you're sitting here, you've taken time. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Here in the US, we had an extended weekend, so we're all getting back to it. And especially during this time that the world is facing, I think there's probably not much of a question as to why people want to go paperless or take on digital transformation in their organization. A lot of us, unfortunately, right now are separate from each other as colleagues, and that's difficult. But we're also separated from maybe what we're used to in our office environments, working remotely, being able to run over to that file cabinet or open that drawer right there in our desk and find what we need very easily. So let's talk about the why of digital transformation. And Mary and Matt, feel free to jump in if I miss anything, or if you have anything you'd like to add, we'll keep it conversational. But these are the major reasons you can see here we have listed that we've encountered. KwikTag, we've been at this for over 22 years, and so we have customers across every industry and from varying different sizes and but they all face kind of the same challenges, really. So too much time. The first one there is basically, how much time does it take to find the documents you need on a daily basis? When someone asks you for, hey, when was the last time we ordered such and such? And does it take you having to put down what you're doing, run over to a file cabinet, find that file cabinet, find that particular file, find that particular paper document? Does it have you scrolling through emails or going back in the ERP system and trying to figure it out without really having a document digitally associated? How much time does that take? And also during audit times, if you do experience audits, are these week-long audits, 3 weeks? I mean, we hear of just many situations where time is really drained by just trying to find documents. And then so the thought is, well, what would it be like if I could just type a keyword in? If I could literally at the touch of my fingertips find the document in 3 seconds or less, and how much more would that free me up to do the things that I've been trained to do, that I really enjoy doing, rather than chasing after documents. Office space, we have numerous stories and customers who have literally been crowded in by file cabinets. I mean, we've had unfortunate situations with, I'm thinking of a particular customer where they had all their file cabinets on the bottom level, and they were told, or I think it was the second level, and they were told that it was becoming so heavy that the supports were not holding it. I mean, this is true, and maybe not everyone's to this extreme, but then when they moved everything down to that first level, there was intense rain and flooding, and a lot of those files were destroyed. So it is a reality. File cabinets, paper file cabinets, crowding you in, looking around your office space, maybe not as dramatic as that example, but is there, or as the company and the organization grows, are you being crowded out by these file cabinets? And how great would it be to get rid of them and make space for employees and to stretch out and to grow, and make it a better space for everybody, and turn all those documents digital. The next thing is bottlenecks. These are what you can basically the pain of, on a daily basis, your processes, things getting held up, what you can feel hitting you or coming, let's say when it's month end or approaching, and you get that sick pit in your stomach, or when someone is supposed to, you need to get a vendor paid and someone's supposed to approve it, but you can't seem to get past this certain person, or this getting things in on time. We'll help you identify those bottlenecks, and we'll help address those as well. And how we do that is providing more visibility. So finding documents, but certainly also looking into where things are in your everyday processes. Visibility into that helps free you up and gives, knowledge is power. So then you can take action, you can improve your processes when you can see very easily, in the flow of, say, an invoice approval or an expense report approval, where is that document? What's holding it up? Who's holding it up? Or where are we losing a lot of time? So KwikTag, from start to finish, gives you an audit trail. If you're using us for document management, just from the minute that document is added into the system, it always will record who added it, when, you've got your time and date stamp, any modifications, where it's moved, who it's shared with, who approves it, if you have a workflow. We're always going to give you visibility into both the data around a document and then also any workflow that's added there. And then, looking at the last two there, inability to keep up. Basically, you can't keep up, and hopefully that's a good problem. Hopefully, you're experiencing growth, or you see growth coming on the horizon. And we'll talk about a good use case scenario later on. But some organizations have 800 invoices a month, but they know they'll be moving up to 2,000. Some have 10,000 invoices a month, and depending on how many people they have in processing these invoices, this could be a huge challenge. KwikTag, we're definitely here to help you not only address your current needs, but make sure that you're ahead of the curve there in keeping up with growth in your organization, and especially when compliance comes around. If you have any controls that are mandated to you, we're here to help and put those in place using our solutions. So as far as some industry data, this is from Level Research. This poll here, you can take a quick look at it, but these are what AP people across all industries are reporting as their key challenges. You can see here that right up there at the top, manual data entry and inefficient processes, 74%. Manual routing of invoices for approval, that's at 68%. So we're seeing the whole manual side of things, discrepancies and exceptions, invoices received in paper format, lost or missing invoices. So this data it points to just basically what we already know on a daily basis is that manual processes and relying on paper documents, you just can't keep up anymore with the pain of things. I also wanted to point out decentralized AP processes. So with our ability to spread out basically as an organization, whether it's one location but people are working remotely, or whether you have multiple locations, that just compounds all of these issues that we've already talked about. I mean, you just multiply it out by however many locations you have, because you cannot share paper or even emails and shared files. It just becomes more and more difficult for everyone to be on the same page. So with KwikTag, we put you all not only on the same page, but in the same solution to help you out here. And then this is just a quick look, again, from Level Research at some of the statistics about the relationship between procurement and AP. So these two departments working hand in hand, hopefully, if POs are required in your organization, or purchase requisitions, what is the handoff like between that? What's the communication like between both departments when it comes to these? And you can see here 60% are report lack of visibility between departments on the status of transactions, whether it's an order, then the resulting invoice, payment. So visibility, as we mentioned earlier, now it's not just AP, but it's other departments. So the ability then beyond that, for people who are buying, but then also people who are planning as well, having a system that ties everybody in and giving them that visibility across departments is huge. So that's where we can help too. So that's the second one there, difficulty obtaining information between departments, poor communication between departments on key issues. So a lot of this, as we mentioned, you can see here too, and that in these further ones, these result in things like late payments, and basically not just employee dissatisfaction, but also vendor relationships being harmed as well. So these are things, if you're nodding along right now, or if you're saying, yep, we're okay in some of these areas, but maybe not in some of these others, but just so you know that these are common issues, and that KwikTag, we're here to help. So one system, any business process, any department. So that's always been our claim, and we'll go into a little bit more of our history a little bit later in the webinar. But the idea behind KwikTag is that we easily allow you to capture documents that are either paper or they're brought into your organization from various different streams, whether it's email or other electronic systems that vendors are utilizing. But so we want to be able to centralize all that, capture them, and make them easily accessible. We also integrate, so we'll get into this as well in more of the specifics, but you can use KwikTag as a standalone document management system, or you can integrate with the Microsoft Dynamics ERP solutions very easily and out of the box as well. So whether you're using GP, BC, finance, we're here for you. AX, NAV, SL, we're across the board. we're able to help you out. And then automate. This is something that when I mentioned earlier about infinity and beyond, well, document management is a great starting point. The beyond part that a lot of our customers then move to, and it's just good to know. I mean, we'll help you at any stage you're at. So if document management is all you need right now, perfect. A lot of organizations start with that, and then once they get everyone up and running on the system and feeling comfortable, then they start to automate processes. So it's just good to know that QuikTag can be utilized not just with document management in finance. You can also utilize it across any department and then build workflows as needed. So invoice approval, already mentioned, expense management's another great one, and we'll go through the list as well. But just to give you a good idea of exactly how we work and how QuikTag makes all this happen for you, I'm going to switch over to Mary, and she's going to provide a demo, and she's going to show you document management with one of our top solutions that we work with, GP, and then touch on how we integrate with some of the other ones as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for that great setup and background of the problem. I think it's so important when, everybody on the phone here is, come for different reasons, right? Things have brought them to this conversation for a variety of reasons. And you've highlighted several of them that we hear from our customers over and over again. So a lot of people can probably relate to those. So we're going to take a look at how we can address those challenges, specifically the going digital. And that for many people means just, can I see the paper documents that I have in a digital format? For others, it means I've already got a bunch of documents digitally, but they live on her desktop and his network file, and maybe over there they're buried someplace else. And oh yeah, we got those file cabinets that you mentioned earlier as well, Michael. So I think that seeing it kind of really brings it into light of how you can organize all of your documents in your organization digitally, centralized, so that we can get rid of that time that you spoke about that people spend being stressed over looking for documents and all of that. So this is what this demonstration is going to bring to life for us. What we're looking at, you guys can see my screen, right, Michael?
Yep.
Awesome. So what we're looking at is the QuikTag interface, and we call it KTX. It's our web interface, and it can work in an on-premises environment. If you've got GP hosted, if you've got Nav hosted by yourself on-premise, then we'll integrate there. If it's hosted in the cloud with your partner or on your own, we can integrate with it there, or you can have us host it for you. So lots of different ways to bring QuikTag to life. I'm going to show you an environment here. This happens to be hosted in the cloud. My GP instance is on premises. So you'll see kind of the fact that it doesn't really matter. The integration is seamless. So when we say we integrate with the Microsoft Dynamics ERP systems and we present you with a centralized, easy to access digital document management system, this is what we mean. On the left-hand side, we have the concept of sites and drawers. So now these are digital sites, right? I'm going to refer a lot to my GP company, which of course is Fabricam, and I'm going to show you the site Fabricam and the related digital drawers that QuikTag gives you out of the gate. So as Michael mentioned, all of this is out of the box. About 79 different screens in GP you can automatically associate documents to digitally. I'm going to show you how that works. I've got a couple of other sites that you can see though, Quick Payables and QuikTag. I could also add to this location A, location B, department C, all divisions, all of those additional sites in your organization that might not be GP connected or might not be even finance users, could be other areas of the business. If you want them to be able to store documents digitally, they too can take advantage of QuikTag. So the system scales very nicely across the organization, and no extra charge on the product side. You just add users as you need them, of course, and just pay for those as you go. So it makes it nice and easy and very affordable to scale document management across your system. Now, what are these drawers that we're looking at here? Well, you might recognize some of the names of these drawers because they're all, guess what? They map exactly to the GP module. So they're all directly integrated to the name of the screen, the name of the form inside a GP. So much like that empty file cabinet that you get when you buy it from the store and have it shipped to your office, KwikTag is the same way. It comes empty, but connected and organized. What does that mean? Well, each one of these digital drawers, you can see I'm scrolling down the list here. To give an example, I've got about 60 of them in my demo environment. You'll have more than that if you have, if you use all those screens in GP, you might have less. But the ones that I've favorited here are the ones that are most common in my finance experience. Certainly my payables transaction entry. So on the left, I had the sites at the top. These are my list of drawers. As soon as I click on one of these drawers, let's just say we're going to look at purchasing vendors by way of example to start with. I click on the drawer. Now you see in the middle of the screen the list of files, the list of documents that live in that digital drawer, that live in the purchasing vendor drawer. Here's one I added just today for us, a 2020 contract for advanced office systems. As soon as I click on that row, we see the document to the right. Now, of course, I can clean up the real estate and give myself some more room if I want to search this, but this is the concept of the digital document management system. Now, there's a lot of different ways to get documents into the system. We're going to look at the most common ones, but the concept here is, remember, sites at the top left, drawers that live within those sites. So we have that relationship. So for every GP company that you have, or BC or finance or whatever system, dynamic system you're using, whatever site you have located as a company in that ERP system, we're going to automatically create this corresponding set of drawers for you. So you don't have to go hire an IT person to create those filing structures or anything like that. Automatic as soon as KwikTag is connected to that system. Very powerful. Saves a ton of time in getting set up. So we look at the document. Of course, we can display it over here. We can scroll down and see the next file that we have associated here. We can look through these things, share them, search through them, edit the data from them, anything like that. But here's something interesting. When I click edit, you didn't see me do any data entry here. I pulled this data, KwikTag pulled this data through from GP. So in other words, in Company Fabricam in GP, for the vendor ID of Advanced Office Systems, we uploaded a file called GSE Construction. Maybe we've got a new subcontractor we've just brought into our business. We tagged that document. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And it came right into KwikTag along with all of that data. No more duplicate data entry, no more deciding where it's going to be filed. It's all very logical, very organized, automatically out of the box. Okay, so let's hop into GP and see what I'm talking about over here. What does this look like on the user experience daily basis? Let's first look at that vendor card. So I have Advanced Office Systems here. And as I mentioned, 79 different screens, 61 of them or so in my demo environment, but you'll get comfortable with what that looks like in your environment based on the GP screens that you're using. Let's start with vendor card. I do this because there's contracts, there's W-9s, there's addendums, there's changes in terms, all this kind of stuff that our customers need to have digital, and they need to have it associated with these transactions in GP just as much as they need purchase orders and invoices and packing slips and all of that stuff. So I just want you to be aware that outside of finance transactions, there are also a lot of really important documents that you might need to store within KwikTag. So KwikTag comes to life on the additional menu. You may be familiar with the additional menu if you have other systems that you connect off of that tab there, but KwikTag comes to life there as well. So everything from tag, view, search, view the work queue, that comes into play if you're using one of our workflow solutions on certain modules and screens inside a GP. Delete, we don't typically recommend that, and can hide it from some of your users if you don't need them to do that. And then about, so you know what version you're on. Most of what you're going to function in using KwikTag are tag, view, and search. So what's this concept of tag? Well, the idea of tagging a document is literally the same as uploading or attaching a document to a specific transaction, in this case in GP. This works, by the way, the same way in Business Central and Finance. Right in the home row menu navigation, there will be a KwikTag option where you can tag and view documents from within those systems as well. I'll show you a quick screenshot of that later, but just understand the concept and the functionality is the same. So tag a document, what does that mean? Well, let's say we have a new addendum that we need to add to this vendor contract. And I could type, that would be much better. There we go. So one of the ways that we're going to get a document in is electronically. It's already digital. It's sitting on my desktop somewhere. It's sitting in my shared structure, my shared file, or other filing system. We'll say that it's our commercial transactions. We better get that in there. So I simply said, clicked on the document. QuikTag says, do you want to associate this document with this vendor transaction in GP? I say yes. So as soon as I do that, QuikTag says, okay, that document now belongs in the vendor drawer for company Fabricam, and the document's going to live there with the pertinent vendor data that it pulls through, just like I showed you before. Now, let's say that somebody sends us something in the mail. Let's say they send us a W-9 that they've got updated on their system. Maybe somebody changed in ownership or something else was updated. So they have a piece of paper that they're looking at in their hand, and they need to get it into QuikTag. Now I'm going to come over here and see if I can turn on my webcam for a second so I can share with you what this is like. Do we have access to webcam in this environment?
Mary, I don't think we do. We do have a slide that shows the tags
okay.
later on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that, guys. I would have gladly turned on my webcam and shown you exactly what this looks like. But picture with me, if you will. I mean, if we can be Buzz Lightyear, we can do, pretend for a second, right? So, so I'm holding a piece of paper that has a tag that looks just like that QuikTag. It's got 107374552. I pulled it off of my roll of tags. We each get our own. We're all uniquely identified in the whole world of QuikTag. This 9-digit number is unique to me and unique to this transaction. I take the little barcode label that looks just like what you're looking at there. I put it on my my W-9, and I now have it setting aside waiting to walk over to the scanner, which later today I'm going to hit scan to QuikTag. Now, if that form happens to be 2 pages, the tag that I put on page 1 serves as a document identifier and a page separator. So it comes to page 3, it finds a new tag, and maybe that's a 10-page document. Okay, it's going to look for where that document goes. Once I scan these documents into QuikTag, you guys, this is so powerful. When I scan them into QuikTag, just by clicking scan to QuikTag, we're going to help you configure that, of course, during the implementation phase. QuikTag is going to take all of those documents and direct them to the transactions that they need to go to, and then make them visible for us here. I'm just going to say okay because I can't show you what I mean here, but I'm not going to actually associate a digital document because it's not digital yet. I have to scan it in first, and it's going to get there. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So we say okay, and QuikTag is now going to wait for that document. Then we'll just say this is going to be a W-9, right? So we'll put in a comment. Comments are optional, but we'll put them in just for fun so we can follow along. Another way we can get documents into QuikTag, and this is also very, very powerful, and people ask us all the time, when you do this, what I'm going to do is drag and drop an email, and I think you'll be able to appreciate this, especially right now, right? We live in email because in some cases it's the way that we are sharing information and documents and all sorts of stuff right now. So when you do this, you can delete these emails. We're going to associate this email. I've got an invoice approval email, so I've got some body content here. I've got an attachment you can see on the right-hand side as part of this message. We'll even open it up so you can get a better picture. Of course, that's got a file attachment. It could have 1 or 20 attachments, doesn't matter. We're going to bring that email over. So let's just say we're going to attach a new document here. Now, normally I would do this at the payable transaction entry screen, but just for fun, and since this is where we are, we'll follow along here. We'll just say this is an email approval. This might have been a new vendor contract or something like that, right? We're going to take this entire email, drag it over to that barcode label, and now QuikTag says, do you want to associate this message with this transaction? I'm going to say yes. So we're building our own little digital library for this vendor card. Now, again, this could be on the payable transaction entry. I'll show you a couple things there. This could be on any number, 79 different pages, 79 different screens inside a GP. By the way, in Business Central, it's about 80 different pages. Finance, it's about 60 different pages. So again, not just the invoice transactions, sales orders, customer orders, GLs, journal entries, you name it. So you'll find this view. Now here's what's really powerful. That time that Michael talked about that people have to get up and search for things, especially when it's physical and in paper and filing cabinets and everything. Now we can come straight to the view documents right from our additional menu, and we can view all of those things right here Here are the ones that are waiting to be scanned. There's the W-9. It's going to have that 107374552, just like the piece of paper on my desk that I couldn't show you because I can't turn my webcam on, but you get the idea. So I've got that ready to be scanned. And it's going to take the email a second to get in there, but as soon as the system refreshes, it'll be there too. So I can come back and I can look at any of these documents right here from within GP, but they live in KwikTag. They live in KwikTag so that there's no storage overhead in your GP system, and also so that they're easy for me to find and share with people in KwikTag who maybe are not GP users. So we'll take a look at that in a second as well. So we'll close out of this. We're satisfied with the information we've attached to that vendor card. We'll get an email out of the way over here. And I'm going to show you just a couple things with the payable transaction entry. In the payable transaction entry screen, this is one of the forms that is enabled for workflow. What I mean by that is if you're using our invoice automation solution, Quick Payables, which ingests, receives invoices in on the front end, I'll show you that in a second, routes them around for approval, and then upon final approval, creates the transactions here in GP. Now for payables transaction entries, that's a very common thing. You need to have things routed and coded and all that. If they're related to purchasing related transactions, purchase orders, whether they're enter match or shipment invoice, will create in those transactions as well. But I'm just going to show you here in the PTE. This transaction that we're looking at was actually created by KwikTag. And the way that I would get it into GP is I'd come down to the work queue. I'd select it from the batch of transactions that has been approved and is ready to be put into a GP batch. I simply select it, create the batch, and there it is. So I've already gone through all of that. I'm not going to take the time to show every step of that process, but just understand I had to do 0 data entry for this transaction, okay? KwikTag created it in this case through our quick expense solution. You can see that KE right there. That's an expense management solution. So we do the same thing for invoices as we do expenses. And along the way, it got coded because somebody in the process put in the codes and GP received that information from KwikTag. In this case, it actually even converted the expense report to an invoice so that it could be created as a payable transaction. So again, very, very powerful workflow solutions that you can add on top. This one's expense related. If we were doing a payables invoice, it would create the payable with an invoice payable to a vendor, of course. The GL coding would have been done along the way. No data entry required. And now, of course, when I click view documents, I'm going to be given the same type of option. Here's a receipt that was part of that. Or I can actually open the individual expense report, drill down, see the data, even see the individual receipts if I want to, because sometimes all of that data needs to be stored and accessible for finance as well. So that's the experience on the GP side. Where does it live over here in KwikTag? Of course, in the payable transaction entry drawer. So we come up to those. I've got a few favorited here. Of course, those are the ones that are starred. So you'll have those that you get comfortable with as well. But when we look in the PTE drawer now, of course, we would be able to see that same expense report right there. There's the image of the receipt that I had separate, and then of course there was the actual expense report that I could drill down on. Same thing with an invoice. The invoices are going to be visible for us here. We're going to be able to see that workflow history that Michael mentioned earlier, who did what, who entered, who approved, and when it was entered into the ERP system. Now again, all of that is workflow. One of those is called Quick Payables for invoice routing and approval, and the other is Quick Expense. That's for expense management for employee reimbursable as well as credit card reconciliation. But so that's where those things live because that's the GP transaction that we created for them. Again, you can see we've got purchasing invoice entry. What's really cool about the purchasing invoice experience is if you are using purchase orders, our real-time connection to GP creates those transactions such that your AP team needs to do hardly any data entry, if at all. And I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. But so those are the ways that documents, the primary ways that documents get into KwikTag, and some examples of some of the workflow scenarios that you can also take advantage of. But let me show you this too. For those of you who have people in your company that don't have access to GP or that maybe don't work in it as much, and they just need to be able to find those documents, or it's audit time, right? Michael referenced that when the auditors come in and they say, hey, give me a list of invoices that were paid for $10,000 or more in this date range, or I want to see all of the vendor invoices for XYZ vendor, or I want to see all of the purchase order related transactions, et cetera, et cetera. And what does that typically do? It sends about 10 people running to filing cabinets, to offsite storage, to really cold grain silos in the middle of North Dakota. You know, all of these things can become very, very painful and cumbersome and time consuming, right? So instead, what if they could just come into QuikTag and say, oh, he wants to see all of the invoices that we paid to Acme Company. Okay, great. Type in Acme in the search bar and there you go. Here's our contract. And if we had invoices for it, of course, those would show up for us visible as well. Seconds instead of hours and days that it takes us to gather this. Okay, or we can set up search templates. That's what these represent. If I have a certain type of invoices, or if I have a certain criteria that I always have to search for, this is the vendor, this is the document number, this is the date range, dollar amount, etc. I can look up invoices and documents in that way. The other way that we can search and find documents, and again, this is so powerful, especially think about your experience if you're in Business Central or finance as well, because this works the same way there. And it's next to impossible. You practically have to be a developer to find a document in Business Central or finance, unless you know exactly which transaction and what point in that transaction lifecycle you attached a document. And again, Microsoft wasn't trying to be a document management system. They give you that ability to attach kind of one-off reference documents. But if you want a full-scale document management system that enables you to capture the documents digitally, integrate very nicely out of the box, and then have the potential to automate with these other solutions that we're highlighting, you really need a full-scale document management and process automation system, which is what, of course, QuikTag is. So if I want to come in here, now I'm going to search for something that was very specific. Maybe I ordered some SD-RAM. I don't know if people order that anymore, but we'll pretend that they do. I ordered some SD-RAM and it's time for me to beef up my computers again. And I don't remember who I ordered it from. QuikTag gives you the ability for content search. In addition to all that filing information that we pull through from the system, or you can add with comments or whatever, we're now going to search for the document content. If you blinked, you missed it. I just clicked in the Find In category. I changed it from the filing information to the document content. So now we're going to look for this SD-RAM. So what QuikTag is now doing is looking across all of my documents, no matter where they live. You can see I've got several in different drawers here that live in documents in these drawers. It tells me exactly which digital drawer it's stored in. And then it brings up that file and says, oh, here it is. Here's the SD-RAM you ordered. Oh, looks like you ordered it from Advanced Office Systems, you know, your favorite vendor. And there it is right there. But let's say this was like a 20-page document. SD-RAM doesn't show up until, you know, page 18. Well, I don't have time for that. So I just do a Control F, put in SD-RAM, hit enter, and then there it highlights it for me out of the gate. So everything that you would expect from the ability to get documents in the system easily, share them with people. You can click right here and email this out to somebody who might have called you and asked you that question, right? Where did we get that from? Here it is. Email it directly to them right here from QuikTag. The other powerful thing about that is, remember we looked at contracts and W-9s and things like that. Well, once you get a document into a system, you're probably not going to want to remember all those details about when you need to follow up, right? Contracts are a great example. Maybe they're going to expire in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So you want to send this document either to yourself or to a colleague or somebody on your legal team, let's say in, you know, the end of June in this case, because maybe we're about to come up on our expiration here. And we'll just send this to mary@nchoice.com. And I'm going to get this email that says, please review for renewal in, you know, a few months here, or now in a month or so. And the file is going to be attached. I'm going to get this message, but let's say I was setting this for next year, right? 18 months from now, 24 months from now. I'm not going to remember to come back, and I'm going to have to search for all those things on a regular basis, quarterly perhaps. I can, as soon as I put the document into the system, QuikTag we can set this reminder. QuikTag can tell me when it's time to review for renewal and things like that. I click submit. Now I'm going to get that email on June 30th. I don't have to think about it again. So 60 days, 90 days prior, 6 months prior, whatever the case might be, I can set those notifications as soon as I get the document into the system. The other thing is, what if there's a new version of this document? I come over here, I can just simply add a new version, browse out, upload the file, that kind of a thing. And then both versions would be visible for me right here. I could download this file and so that it's stored on my desktop, of course, but it's always still going to live 100% in KwikTag. So let's just circle back to the beginning of the conversation here to remind you of the concept of sites and drawers. So digital sites store their respective drawers and the documents within them, of course, that are specific to, in our case, the GP company that we're connected to with KwikTag. We have all of those documents in the drawer. As soon as we click in the drawer, we get the list of documents. And then, of course, as you click on the row for that document, it displays on the right. And then you get all of those additional options to search and share and be able to retrieve these documents. Now, if I was putting these in through a workflow, I'm just going to give you a 30-second preview of this. If I was adding quick payables, the solution that begins with receiving the documents, in this case digitally, they could be emailed in, they could be uploaded. I had somebody ask me last week, can we still fax them in? Yes, of course, you can still fax them in. Not a lot of people do, but if that's your business need, then absolutely, we support that. So we'll in our case, we email them in for purposes of demonstration. So we've emailed in a bunch of invoices that are ready to begin the quick payables, the routing and approval process. Now, we just introduced a new add-on module to our quick payables solution called KTIQ. What KTIQ is an intelligent OCR solution that does data extraction powered by AI, and it really, I'd really like to not call it OCR, but at its core, that's the way that you'll understand it. But it's a very powerful data extraction solution powered by AI and that has a real-time connection to GP. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm the AP person on right now. I've got my AP hat on. I just received these invoices in. I'm working through my queue. I have to process them and decide if they need to be routed for approval. I click on the edit button because of course this is the next one in my list. I could have sorted or filtered or whatever to get to the ones that were important for me to work on. What KTIQ does is the first thing it does is try to determine what type of invoice it is. In this case, it's determined that this CDW invoice is a shipment invoice because it looked at GP. You guys, this is so well integrated that I would challenge you to find this type of solution anywhere on the market. So well integrated to GP. It looked into GP to say, hey, is there a purchase order for this transaction? Yep, sure enough, I've got a purchase order number on this invoice. Great, is that in GP? Sure is. Is there a receiving transaction for this invoice? Oh, no. So we're waiting for the shipment invoice to be created. And so it determined that and it presented with all of the data that it extracted off the invoice, as well as the intelligence to reach into GP and pull back those line items. Folks, I have to do 0 data entry if everything looks good. If I see something that isn't 100% accurate here, I go, well, my invoice total is 1229.11. My total is 1209. Oh, must be that freight right there that's missing. Of course, I can take a look at that and just enter the freight. Now everything balances, everything matches. I'm going to submit it. It's going to be waiting for me in GP to be created as a shipment invoice transaction. It's that simple. Now, again, of course, if you needed things to be routed and reviewed, exception processing for purchase orders or coding and review and approval for payables transactions, of course, we support all of those things. Email approval review, I showed you that with the expense report as we drag and drop that email over with the expense report attached into GP. So all of those things are supported as well. But just understand that when you're looking for document management, we can help you capture those documents right away, make it easy to find and search and share. If you're looking for that workflow automation to take it to the next step, then we can support that process with a very intelligent front end to that process called KTIQ. Route those invoices or expense reports, depending on your requirements, as they need to be for approval, and then create those transactions in GP for you automatically. So that's kind of the highlights of the demonstration. Michael, Matt, anything you wanted me to additionally cover there, or are you ready to take it back?
No, that's great. I can take it back, and as we're
there you go.
Because hopefully that gives everyone a good idea of where you can go with it. Like we've said all along, KwikTag document management, but then you can do so much more beyond that. Matt's going to share a little bit about a good starting package that we have right now. So I'll hand this over to Matt.
Oh, thank you, Michael. And Mary, you always do such a great job. You're a hard act to follow.
You can do it, Matt. Thank you,
though. So KwikTag Cloud, Quick Start, 10-10-10. We speak with a lot of companies every day, and around mid-March, those conversations started changing because of coronavirus and the new work from home world that we're living in. The conversations really started to have a lot of urgency. People did not have access to their filing cabinets anymore. So although they may have wanted to go through a digital transformation many times, for some reason or another, they maybe never got to it, but now they really saw how important it was to their business. So with these conversations in mind, we try to develop an offering where our prospects, and many of them were looking at larger projects that included workflow and everything, but they had an immediate need. We developed an offering that would get them up quickly, get them digitally transformized, and get them access to their documents from the cloud. So they wouldn't even have to go in and set up a server. So we call that the 10-10-10 Quick Start. It's 10 users. We can get this completely up and running live in the cloud in less than 10 days, and it's less than $10,000. And also, just to make things a little bit easier, we know funds are tight for a lot of companies. We also provide 90 days of free access. So the 12-month contract is actually, the 12-month rate is actually a 15-month term. And that includes everything. That includes training and setting it up and for configuring it towards your business to meet your requirements and handing that off to you.
Yep, definitely a great deal. We did want to touch.
Did I see your family there for a second?
Yeah, we are. I was trying to move the slides along just because we are running to the top of the hour. And Mary already mentioned quick payables with KTIQ. Definitely, it's just a sneak peek of what you can do further down the line, or, you know, like Matt said, if you want to start with document management, we got this great deal right now. If you, but if you want to jump in with both feet, this is a huge game changer. A lot of our customers are really loving it right now. And so, Matt, if you want to talk to this just for a moment, and then we can, I do want to get to that case study too that's coming along.
Sure. Yeah, Mary already detailed this a little bit in her demo, but this to me is the most exciting new offering that KwikTag has. It's really an enhancement to our quick payables. It is the KTIQ that Mary showed you. It's intelligent invoice data extraction, and it's very different from OCR. I don't even like to have it really associated with the term OCR because it's very different. Really, it looks at a page like a human would and says, okay, I see this information here. What do I recognize? And it starts to recognize vendor names and things like that. And it also leverages GP, information in GP. So it says, okay, I recognize that phone number because GP has that phone number associated with this vendor in the system. So it is really a great use of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And for those of you that know zonal OCR, it was a workhorse for years. Many companies with high volume of invoices saw some great efficiencies through that. Zonal OCR would take a look at a page, and it would have an area of that page that they would have an understanding. This is where some of the information I need to extract will be, and it will look at each character. And as it looks at each character, it has a confidence level in each character. And for all the low confidence characters, if it doesn't know if it's an L or a 1 or a 0 or an O, the end user will have to go in and make that judgment and fix it. So there's some work to be done there. With KTIQ, all that work is done because it doesn't look at each character and get confidence. It looks at the entire thing like a human. It understands what the page is, and it leverages all the information in GP to really fill in a lot of gaps. And it's more accurate than OCR. It's easier to use because it's a cloud managed service. So really, you just enjoy the service. There's nothing really for you to maintain or manage. And believe it or not, it's less expensive than OCR because OCR sometimes was expensive to set up, and you'd have software costs and annual costs. With KTIQ, it can be as low as $750 to get you started, get you set up, And from there, there's some tiers of your volume, but it ends up being, the ROI is definitely there. It ends up being a huge value for many of our end users.
Yep, that's great, Matt. And then, so that's an example of how far we go into the future as far as automation. But one of the starting points of QuikTag, we mentioned earlier, Mary was going to show you this if she could turn her camera on. But these are the tags of QuikTag. This is definitely a huge help at the beginning and throughout for our customers. If you want to touch on that briefly, Matt.
Sure. Yeah, this is exactly what Mary was talking about, where she wanted to show you during her demo. This seems pretty simple. We have a US patent, so our end users can enjoy this, and end users from other environments don't get to enjoy the benefits of this. What you can do inside the system is create a reservation, and once you put the sticker on and that reservation coincides with the number in the system, it'll automatically attach that document to the transaction in GP or in whichever ERP you may be using, whichever Dynamics ERP you're using. What's cool about this, and a lot of our end users don't even really use it, but ones with a lot of paper invoices that are dealing with a high volume of paper invoices love this because it acts as a document separator. You can picture if you had a stack of 25 invoices, some 1 page, some 5 pages, everywhere in between, and you scanned that all in, it would create one big PDF. And there's not much you can do with a PDF of with all that, with all those images in there. It really doesn't make sense to do it that way. So what you do is put a sticker on the front page of each invoice, and it will separate each invoice and create a separate PDF, some 1 page, some 2 page, some 3 page, depending on how your invoices come in. And then it will also attach those documents in GP or in whichever ERP you're using, whichever Dynamics ERP you're using at the time. So it's a very powerful, looks very simple, but it's a powerful tool for a lot of our end users that are dealing with a lot of paper.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. And that's really the goal here is, as we talked about, and we'll kind of sum up very quickly here with this, and then the example is really just about saving time, because time equals money, you know. So in improving the experience, not just with your own team, but in your relationship with other departments and with vendors, using document management and API automation. So decreasing paper and processing costs, eliminating data entry, you saw that, gaining visibility, and then all of that amounts to, you know, and we have the data behind this. We can provide this afterwards. We're happy to follow up with ROI calculations and whatnot, but taking advantage of early pay discounts and saving that time really equals saving money. We do have a really interesting case study, and hopefully you can think, and we'll take a few minutes here at the end for any questions as well. But how does this apply in the real world, in the real scenario? This is a customer of ours, Creative Solutions in Healthcare. This is where they started, and then I'll show you in a second here where they ended up. But they started 100% paper, and they were really like they were drowning in paper. 8,000 to 10,000 invoices per month at the time, and they were growing. So now it's 10 to 12, over 14,000 active vendors, 117 different entities with invoices and payments. So, and this was all being accomplished through a very grueling manual process. They were in desperate need of help. With QuikTag, they were able to increase productivity by 52%. So this was a project that they dove into, and we helped them look at their current process and improve it. So they went from a 9-step process to a 4-step process, from invoice receipt to posting. They were able to upgrade GP as well and implement QuikTag in 2 simple phases. So that's always a consideration, you know, when you're doing projects. You know, a lot of times you want to do an upgrade along with adding a solution on. So we're very sensitive to that, and we walk hand in hand with that initiative as well. So remember I said they were 100% paper, now they're down to 12% in paper utilization. And this is the best part really for me. And if you could see the AP manager, when she tells a story, she literally dances with joy. She was so happy. The AP team, I mean, they had braced them for, okay, this is change. It's gonna be difficult. Change is always, hard. And we're really excited about QuikTag, but brace yourselves, everybody. This is gonna be a process. Literally, as soon as they turned the switch on, within a day, they were all really, really happy, and they could see how it was going to be and how it continued to quickly build momentum and change their daily life. And so they're just thrilled at the effect that it had. We also can do other things as well. So custom file import was a bonus there that we were able to accomplish there. So hopefully you've seen QuikTag. We can help one system, any document, any process, any department. We don't have time to go through really the rest of these different scenarios, but you can see how we can grow and expand, as we've mentioned, whether it's AP, invoice automation, expense management, but people use this organically. It just starts to spread across, whether it's legal department with contracts, like you saw Mary referencing, human resources, sales. So we're here. You can start at any different at any stage, and we'll grow with you along the way. So we've only got less than 5 minutes left. I thought this would be a good opportunity to check with Melissa to see if we have any questions that have been entered in.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the question pane here, but I don't see anything come in. So if you've got more minutes to talk.
Yeah, super. Yeah, so I'll let Matt close out here with just a summary of where we're at with our product, and then where you can start thinking about where if you would like to begin a conversation. We're certainly happy to talk one-on-one and answer any questions.
All righty, thank you, Michael. So this is a snapshot of our solutions and our software and services. You'll see in the gray box over on the right, on the left, we have document management, QuikTag Cloud, Quick Payables, and Quick Expense. And then we have the Dynamics ERPs in the colorful tabs up on the top. So document management, we've been doing that for a long time. It's basically capturing an image and allowing the user to attach that image in an ERP, and also to be able to search, have some amazing global search features with that image, and be able to view that image, email it. That's the document management side. We offer that on premise, and we also offer that in the cloud. QuikTag Cloud, we're really in lockstep with Microsoft. A lot of Microsoft stuff is going in the cloud, so we also have an offering, a cloud offering. You can basically use any delivery model now with QuikTag. You can have it hosted in Azure in your own environment. You can have it in our cloud. You can have it at your location, whatever works best for you. Quick Payables. Quick Payables is the AP automation. Mary showed you some of that. The awesome enhancement now for Quick Payables, the KTIQ intelligent data extraction, really makes the ROI for that offering just through the roof. It really makes it a great offering. And then Quick Expense. Quick Expense is our second most popular workflow, and that allows you to have corporate credit card reconciliation. It allows your employees to put in their reimbursables and get reimbursed for expenses, and that all flows into the ERP as well, which is currently GP, but we're working on a lot of our development effort is on Dynamics 365, both Business Central and Finance and Operations. So you'll see in the not too distant future, a lot more of our offerings will be on those platforms as well.
I just had a question come in if you guys still have some time.
Yep.
Sure. So someone has written, cannot tell by the page, is the KTIQ LQ full solution work for the Dynamics Nav versions listed? We are on 2017.
Yep.
So I can take that. The KTIQ module actually only integrates today with our quick payable solution for GP. So, and in the future, we're going to enhance it to integrate with BC and finance. But in terms of going backward compatible to the current on-prem versions of NAV and AX is not currently in the product roadmap. So if you're thinking about moving to Business Central, then there would be a future opportunity for that. If you're looking for it just for document management, let's have a conversation offline about that. But yeah, from a payables automation, today it's GP and next will be Business Central and Finance.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Mary. And we do have a payable solution for NAV, so we're happy to have that conversation. This is just a quick snapshot of the other solutions we integrate with GP as well, and binary stream, just a call out there because with multiple entities, as you saw in the example, that's crucial. Here's our family snapshot, some of our organizations you can see spanning across different industries. And then we'll just end here. You know, as I mentioned earlier, we're over 22 years of experience here, Microsoft development partner. We were the first to integrate with their ERP systems, and you know, we're a global organization where all of our support here is based in the US. So we're happy to have conversations. Certainly reach out. We want to thank Melissa at Encore. Thank you for setting this up. And so certainly reach out to your rep at Encore, and they'll be happy to set up calls with us to go into further detail. But thank you everyone for your time. Thank you, Mary and Matt and Melissa, and we hope everyone has a great day. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Thanks,
We
Melissa.
appreciate you.